A deep boom shook the ground. I fell over. The earth tore apart. From within a deep black gash, a grey elephant clambered out over the rubble. And behind him followed a small horse. Many other animals tailed, too many for me to name. They scattered across the split and fissured fields. The mother lay wretched and helpless. She was tied down. Two men in white coats were poking and prodding her swollen, pregnant belly with instruments. Her face was ashen. She was powerless and vulnerable, at their mercy, and they had none. They tore and twisted at her organs as if they were electrical cables. They stripped her wires and twirled them together recklessly in configurations that were not right. Positives and negatives were ignored. The rules of nature lay in their waste trays. They could not see her beauty. They were devoid of compassion and care. They wanted to control her and what lived and died within her. They were so far gone in their crazy plan, they could not perceive her pain. They had decided for everyone's good. They were the ones that chose who and what lived and died, not her. She was weak, and I was full of fear. I hated these men. I would kill them given half a chance. I would cut their throats. The elephant raged and thundered across the plains, screaming and trumpeting. The small red horse galloped behind. I saw the elephant coming, and I ran away. He was enormous, and he was mad. He came closer, and suddenly he changed form. He became small, the size of a large dog, and was darker. He came close to me, and then he changed again, large, grey and wrinkled. I ran to my house. I tried to lock the doors and windows, but he was too smart. He kept ahead of my efforts and beat me to the last door. He pushed his great head through and then his body. All of him stood in my kitchen, an elephant standing in my kitchen. I realized my fear was not going to stop him. He came near to me, wild and fierce. I saw my old cat scurry into a hiding place, and I was worried about her. I grabbed a sheepskin and I offered it to the elephant. He stopped and lowered his head. I placed it at his feet. He placed his trunk on the skin and was gentled by my gesture. I had to leave at this point, as the mother was on my mind. I went to where she would be sleeping. There was a very high platform suspended in tall trees. It was rustic and rough. I could not help her with those men, so I had to do something for her for when she came home, to try and make it better for her. I climbed the stairs and tended her bed. It was all I could do to help, to try to make her comfortable in her terrible state of torture and repression. I knew there was something wrong. It was all wrong. Up was down and down was up. I smoothed her bed. I patted it down. Her bed oddly tilted downwards. Her feet pointed down, and it was not right. I could not fix it. She would not be comfortable even with my effort. She would suffer, but I had to leave. I climbed down from her platform. The stairs were made of massive and rough-cut ancient jarrah. There was a horrible swaying. I stepped down and back. I looked back. The stairs had come adrift from the platform. If the stairway was lost, there was no way of her getting home. She would be cut off, even from her place of rest. This was hopeless. I scurried around trying to find a way to help. Nothing could be done. I could not find the right screws, the right drill. Someone else was making it hard for me. I went back to my house. The elephant was in my kitchen. He was making a mess, but not unlike dogs. It was okay. I was okay with him. The cat was playing with him. He was no longer a threat. I saw the little horse outside watching. Everything was good. However, I needed to do something about the earth splitting open. I had to stop it. I didn't know what I was to do, but I walked along the great crevice with a sense of duty to the task. It soon turned into a fast-flowing river, and further up, a magnificent waterfall had formed. I stood marvelling at the birds and the life that had miraculously sprung up and was growing at a rapid speed around this new formation, this disaster. Rivers had changed courses, and the changes were not bad. The disaster was good. I was worrying over nothing. I stood at the waterfall watching it in awe. I worried that if I went on to stop the change using my own powers, I might hurt all the animals, including the elephant, that had emerged from the great disaster. I didn't want to do that. Sometimes what emerges from a disaster is good. Nature adapts and copes. She heals and reforms herself, baroque and bizarre, but perfectly. Men worry needlessly. I went back and was still worrying about the stairs for the mother's house and my responsibility to fix it. I was angry because there was a man who was sabotaging my efforts to repair her stairs. He was competing with me. He had a drill and all the right screws, the ones I could not find. Then someone whispered in my ear, "Hey, you do realize that he works for you. You can tell him to do whatever you want. Just get him to fix the stairs." I was surprised and relieved that I didn't have to do everything myself. And my enemy was in fact my friend.